Hello, my name is Dean Contover. This is Current Buzz. Today we have a big buzz here. We have the chief from Chelmsford Fire Department, Gary Ryan. Thanks for coming, Gary.
Thank you for having me. It's been a few months since I've been on here. So
I think I'm trying to recall when you were on here last.
I think back in the spring, if I recall.
Okay, yeah. And we were under a real COVID situation. Then it kind of let up a little bit. And
we had a tough month in September. If you look at our COVID numbers, the numbers went up. Actually, compared to last September, our numbers were higher.
We're talking about September.
September 2021, our numbers were higher. So we still have our protocols in place for the fire department. October, they have come down. But I think if you look at where we were last year, for us, the problems happened right around Thanksgiving.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
After Thanksgiving or before?
After Thanksgiving. So,
because the families got together, etc.
Well, I think it gets colder, more people start heading indoors, they're not outside, and I mean, so our protocols were in place. If you look at area fire departments last year, we did very, very well. We had one member that was positive from April through Thanksgiving, one member.
So when you go into a house, you require firefighters to have masks?
We do. We still wear the mask. We still try to do the spacing, but obviously with certain medicals, we have to, we have to get involved and hands-on.
Right.
But after Thanksgiving last year, I think through the month of December, if I recall, we had about 12 members that were positive. And for every member that you had positive, you also had those close contacts that you had to put in quarantine.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's an impact to the operational budget.
No doubt about it.
To the operations of just trying to get the department to function. I've had some very difficult phone calls, especially around the holidays when I have to call a member up. And we would send them out for the testing, and I would get the results, and I have to let them know, one, you're positive. That's a difficult phone call to make. But number two, especially those members with younger children, to tell them that, hey, you've got to be quarantined. I had to do that over Thanksgiving. I had to do it over the Christmas break.
Wow.
And obviously, I'm not alone. Other department members had to do that with their members, other fire departments. But that's just a glimpse of some of the things we were dealing with last year.
Now, with the shots, right?
Yep.
Most of your firefighters have for shots?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We have a very good, I'd say great
I won't ask you the
vaccination.
numbers, okay, but
No, you don't have to ask for the numbers, but it's. I am happy to say that I think a lot of them were on board to get it done. Now the challenge right now is to get the booster shots.
right.
So I just got mine done. They became available from the FDA, CDC last week. I think it was Thursday. And I got mine done locally on Friday.
So when will they nationally, in the town, get boosted, Is there a date coming up?
Well, right now they're doing flu clinics. That's what the health department's doing. I don't know if locally if they will be doing the booster shots.
You know what I found out? There was less flu last season because everybody had masks.
Oh, I agree. Not only the mask, but also the cleaning.
Yeah.
Cleaning the surfaces, cleaning your hands.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, the mask.
Yeah, I read a study in Australia where the flu season was down, and we were coming into it, so I watched it very closely.
Yeah.
And the flu season was down. But when I had you come in, I want to talk about Engine 2.
That's right.
What's happening?
Hey.
Engine 2, before time flies by.
Right.
Engine 2 is in North Chelmsford, Massachusetts.
35 Princeton Street.
35 Princeton Street. It's being rebuilt more or less, or rehoused, or how?
Well, yeah, I think you could say so. We have the original. So the project called for the apparatus bay to stay. So that's more a renovation, a significant renovation.
That's where the fire engine 2 is located, right?
That's where the trucks are housed.
How many trucks? One or two?
We have an engine.
Okay.
We have what we call a bucket truck, which goes up and does our municipal fire alarm lines when we used to have that system, and we have a boat in there.
I need your bucket truck. I'll tell you why.
I'll rent that out to you.
Okay.
But that portion of the building has stayed. It's undergoing a significant renovation.
Right.
But that portion of the building that had the office space, the restrooms, the day quarters, the basement, that part has been removed. Had the small little sub-basement, that's all been taken out. And that's the area where you see the two-story modular building.
When you say the basement's been taken out, what do you mean? Was that filled in, or?
It was, you could access the basement. It had your boiler, had some storage space.
Now, where's the boiler situated in the AC?
It's upstairs. When you come in the new modular unit, it's ground level.
Oh, it's ground
Yep.
level. Okay, all right. So The two new bays, you could drive from the back and you could go through
Correct.
the front. Before, if I remember, you have to back the engine in, right? It was that?
Well,
yeah.
yes, and the reason for that is even though we had the one drive-through bay,
Okay.
behind that you had a boat.
I see.
You had a boat.
I see.
So technically, when I started, before that boat arrived, there was a smaller boat that was pushed over to the side where the bedroom is. But then
And
we
you had to keep it inside.
had to keep it inside. So
Okay.
now we were fortunate to get that bigger boat, but now that is occupying that spot in the back.
I see.
But this new drive-through bay, where the bedroom was, will give us an opportunity to, and it's safer for the members to pull the truck in as opposed to backing the truck up.
Yeah, I think so too. People may not know it, but Chelmsford's bordered by the Merrimack River
Yep.
and the Concord River.
Concord River as well. Yep.
So that's why we have a boat.
Yep.
I just want to let people know.
Well, plus you got Hart Pond and you got Freedom
Yeah,
Lake. Yep.
yeah. No, I'm just saying.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that
Yep.
it runs up to the border of the
Correct.
Concord River and the Merrimack River. So that's why we have a boat. And does it go out occasionally, or?
Well, it goes out. I mean, we do. Well, if it's not in use for an emergency, we do put it in use for training.
Okay.
So the members have to, and plus also for mutual aid. So if somebody requested Lowell or somebody's missing on the river, we can put the boat in.
Right.
The police have a boat, we can assist them.
We have a big
also-
engine. What kind of engine do we have on it? You know how many horsepower?
It's a pretty good size. I don't know the top of
I'm
it.
pretty sure.
But it's, we also used it when we did a regional drill, first one in many, many years with the EPA. So we coordinated when I first became chief. We discussed doing a regional drill on the Merrimack. So myself, then Chief Windward of Lowell, Chief in Kingsborough, we got together. We approached Mass DEP of doing a drill and bringing all the agencies together.
How long will it take a boat to get into the water if you get called? How long do you think? Yeah.
Just a couple minutes. They're
that
very,
right?
I mean, yeah, that's why. I mean, the
Hook
boat
it
is
up?
lined up
Yeah.
there for them to connect it quick. And Watton Lane is just, as you know, right down the street.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I was reading about the modular delivery and all that.
Yep.
It was 12. It's two. The fire station is going to be 2 floors.
2 stories,
right?
yep, correct.
2 stories. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And the modular unit was built in New Holland, Pennsylvania, and it was shipped up by truck.
Correct.
Okay. And there were 12 boxes on 12.
So
12
basically, you
trucks.
got to look at, so when I did that presentation recently at the
Town meeting.
that town meeting, I tried to give a little example. I think I had in the drawing, there are 12 boxes. But the way, so Mod Logic is the company in New Holland, Pennsylvania that built this. So I showed a picture of the factory. It looks like an airplane, like an airplane factory. So if you look at how they do it, they actually build it together. This is different than other modular projects. It's different than what we did with the schools. Because the schools, even though the town used Triumph, they had a different company they used in Pennsylvania to do the modular units. They actually, what they do is they pin it together. They build it together, and then they take it apart.
Well, that makes sense.
So and the reason, from what I'm being told, is to try to line up like the HVAC piping, to line up when they run the wires and stuff.
Makes sense.
And then when they deliver it, they have little spaces for the piping they put in.
Yeah.
But pinning it, from what I'm being told, has helped in the process when it's set up, delivered, and it quickens the pace of putting it. Assembling it.
Is it built for the cold weather and the hot weather and expansion and contraction?
It is. In fact, I think we found out pretty quick because the day of that, the delivery, it was actually supposed to be set up the day before. But we had talk about nor'easter, we had a pretty strong storm that came through. So even at that Friday, I think it was August 19th, when the truck started showing up on site,
Right.
it went through a significant storm. In fact, when they were bringing it up from Mod Logic's factory in New Holland, Pennsylvania, the drivers were driving up with the storm.
Wow.
So you have 12 sections, 12 different vehicles bringing it up, and they stored them temporarily over at the Harrington School. So people would come by and they would see these boxes.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what they, yeah,
so they were there.
I go by and saying, what the heck's going on?
So that's how we saw that, it was put under a test right away, individually as sections, but then when they put it together, we went through to see if there was any leakage, and it was tight.
Wow.
So very
Good.
impressive.
So that means the AC unit and the heating unit will be
Yes,
tight.
robust, tested, and knock on wood, we should be set up soon for testing those systems. With the electrical inspector, the plumbing inspectors, there's a sprinkler system, so there'll be our test on those.
Can I call North Chelmsford Fire, or do I have to go through the switchboard, the main switchboard, to get North Chelmsford Fire to come? 911?
911, yes. Yeah.
I'm glad we have that 911 in Chelmsford. What happened in Drayton, I mean, it was kind of a disaster in regards to the police department not having anybody at the police station up there in Drayton.
I think that was a discussion we've had, not internally, but it was played out before the board when they were looking at that concept. And Chief Spinney spoke to that there would be somebody, if we went in that direction, and Chief Spinney could speak to this better than I can, but I believe he's called for somebody staffing that overnight to avoid the situation Drake was just in.
See, I believe in that, because what I did when my daughter was driving, I told her that if you ever get in trouble, go to the police station. If somebody's bothering you or following you or something like that, go to the police station, because there's always somebody there and they have cameras outside.
Well, let's be but to that point, I think if you go to a smaller town, and I've gone to others to see how the system plays out, I think there are some that have a camera. They don't necessarily have somebody there. And that's, I think, what we discovered with the town of Drayton. So there might be a camera system in place, and in fact, the camera system caught that fire incident that they had.
Yeah, exactly.
But there was nobody in place. I think I just talked to the police chief in Drayton, actually a couple of weeks ago. I met him at an event, and I think they're working to address that situation.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So how many people how many firefighters do you have? How many females do you have?
We have 61 uniform members. 61 uniform members. That includes myself and the deputy chief.
Okay.
And we have 3 people that identified as female.
Yeah.
One that just started with us. She, Chelsea, and Chelsea is her name. She's going to the academy November 15th. Chelsea's a paramedic. We're lucky to have her. So, and she will graduate from the academy in January.
Will she be assigned to Engine 2? Because
No,
you'll
typically your new recruits will be assigned to the center. And the reason for that is, the officer, we have a captain that oversees the unit.
I see.
The officer works out of the center. Plus, operationally, you have the engine in there. You have the rescue in there. You have the ladder in there. You have that gator that goes on the bike path. You have a boat. There's a lot of equipment in there that a new person needs to be exposed to. So that, the way we are running operationally now, like today we have a captain and 2 firefighters in there. Mm-hmm. So and this has happened when I worked back in 7 North Road back in the day, you could drive every single piece. You could be on the engine for an investigation call. You could be on the rescue for an accident on 495. You can be on the ladder for a possible structure fire up in North Chelmsford. But you need to know how each piece of equipment works.
I see. Speaking of 495 and Route 3, we're right there.
We are.
And you get called. How many times do you get called out on the Route 3? And
For that, we're out there, I would sort of recall, probably a couple hundred times, if I recall, for accidents.
Now, are you reimbursed by the state?
No.
No.
But I like your idea. Maybe I can put in for it.
Yeah,
if you know
definitely. I
somebody.
think so. Because it's taken away from the town, and you have to get back up if something happens in town. And I think it's a good idea there.
But I mean, if you look at Route 3, quite honestly, if you jump on it, if you come in, kind of where Cross Point is, and you jump on Route 3.
That's dangerous right there.
But you also see at a certain point, you're actually in Lowell. You see the sign. If people don't know it, you see the sign for Chelmsford, but we picked that whole section up. We have
That's a dangerous section.
It's a dangerous
section. You have 5 lanes.
It's
break it down to 3 in a matter of Less than a mile.
But back when I started, when you went, now we're talking 495
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
we used to come out of the center station, go down, or if it was an accident on 495 North, we used to cross the median with the fire truck. Now think about that. You would have to cross,
Wow.
come to a stop, and all of a sudden it would dip down, and then you would have to try to get back on a high-speed lane. We haven't done that in many years because, one, it's dangerous, but two, we entered into an automatic gate agreement with Westford many years ago. Jack Parrow was chief. So if there's a accident 495 North, Westford will respond. We will as well. And then in turn, if there's an accident of 495 South in Westford, we will respond.
Makes sense.
So you're getting the resources there quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a system that has worked for both of us.
Yeah, it's good. I like the idea in regards to asking the state for funds.
I do too. I think I might follow up on
Yeah,
that.
good, good. Or at least a grant or something like that. You know,
They've actually, I got to say, with this administration, they've been good for us. They've been funding more for grants. So we talked about engine 2. We'll have an extractor. The extractor is it's a big washing machine.
it's a what machine?
It's called an extractor, but it's a big washing machine for our turnout gear.
Oh, I see. Got it.
So you don't put your turnout gear in a regular
Yeah.
machine. You put them in these machines. And we've been fortunate since I've been chief to get 2 of them
Wow.
through the Department of Fire Services with grants that were offered. So that is something that has happened probably in the past, say, 3 years.
So you have 2 machines.
We got 2 of those
Are you
machines.
going to rent one out?
Huh?
Are you going to rent one out?
We can rent one, yes. We can do that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a.
But I mean, that's an opportunity that wasn't available to fire departments many years ago. We had to buy our own.
Yeah.
And when I became chief, the machine was over 20 years old.
Wow. I remember that.
So now we have 2 brand new ones.
Speaking of engines, a lot of trucks. What's the turnover rate in regards to the engine after? What's its
As far as
end
its
of
useful life?
Yeah, end of life.
So the useful life, if
Useful life,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So no, that's fine. So when I go before, in fact, I just submitted my capital budget, which is the board that I go before to ask for this, the ladder, all those big equipment. So if you look at the National Fire Protection Association, they say 15 years. So with chief,
They say 50.
well, we're not bound by that,
Yeah.
but so the city of Lowell, obviously, they go through a lot of wear and tear on their cars.
Yeah.
They might not meet that. We try to meet that. And I say try because I have a truck right now that's going on 25 years old.
Oh, wow.
It's a reserve truck.
Okay.
So the plan, what we try to follow is get a new truck at 15 years, then take that truck, that engine, transition it to a reserve truck, and maybe keep it for another 10 years. So the truck I have right now in 1998 will be retired when it hits 25 years old. The problem we're seeing right now, and I brought this up last year before the Finance Committee, is we're experiencing a lot of mechanical issues with these trucks. These trucks, like your laptops, have a lot of moving parts, a lot of electronics in
It's a
them.
machine.
It's a machine, and it's good for diagnosing a problem. The
Right.
problem we're running into, it's very difficult when you have to do a repair, number one. Number two, it's expensive. So I'm trying to get the message out there that, in my opinion, I don't think you're going to get 25 years out of these trucks. I think when you hit that 15-year mark, 16 years, you may be moving on. Meaning you may be retiring the truck a lot earlier.
How much is
than
a
we have.
truck now?
An engine is close. It's
200,000.
an engine.
Yeah.
It's close to 800,000.
800,000
Yes.
with all the equipment
So when
attached.
So when you go down,
Yeah.
and you actually have to sign a document that you're putting NFPA compliant gear on the truck. It's a requirement.
Who makes you sign a document?
Well, it's
company that
the
builds the
company that does it, and we have our own vendors.
Yeah.
But we do it because we go through the Insurance Services Organization, ISO, you probably heard of them. They will look at your trucks, they will look at your fleet when you sit down with them, and they will see what you have on there for equipment. Does it comply with what an apparatus should have on it? In terms of Scott Pack.
just beer, not putting the apparatus on it, not the hoses and the axes and the bells and whistles or whatever.
You're still close to 700,000. You're probably looking at 100, 125,000. I only know that because we're going through the insurance stuff right now through the town. So you had the cost of the truck, then you had the cost to outfit the truck. And it's something that we go through every year. So right now, we're going through the station. So engine 2, the insurance company will come through, so the valuation will be higher.
I see.
But also, we're going to have more things in that station. It's a bigger station. So now we got to go through the evaluation process of the contents in that station. So they break it up. So you have the cost of the engine, and you have the equipment that's on the engine. That's a different grouping on the insurance. But then you have the process that we're going to be going through right now, actually, we're going through, where we'll put an evaluation on the price of the station plus the contents. The gym equipment, the furnishings
AC,
in the
the
station,
furnace.
anything that's in that station will be factored in.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
Fun stuff.
yeah,
Necessary stuff. I should
yeah,
say.
no, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It covers the town.
Exactly. We want to make sure that
Yeah.
you have appropriate coverage.
yeah.
I mean, look what Drake went through. So, like a vehicle.
Yeah.
So, yes, it had actually, I think it was 2 cruisers.
That's correct.
But, in terms of those cruisers, you got the valuation of the cruisers, but then you have to look internally, what are they storing there? They got laptops, they got computers, especially today's cruisers and the stuff they
Are
carry.
you going to have laptops in the new fire trucks?
We will have probably not all of them, but we will have like what the officer sits in.
Yeah.
We're trying to have something in there for the officer
I see.
so to connect.
It makes sense.
It does make sense.
Especially map. Before, we're almost ended, but this is the question I have. Did the town manager ever tell you that you'll get a Tesla Model Y yet in regards to being the fire chief in town?
I hope he does. I think you said you have a
relative,
New
he's
Ipswich or
chief
something?
of police, yeah.
But
and the
actually,
town
it's,
bought him a Tesla Model Y, and he loves it. He sent me the breakdown how much they're saving with it over a 5-year period. The only thing they have to pay for is the tires.
So he probably told you. So we're engaged in that process as we speak.
Oh, okay.
The town manager.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. There's a committee that we're working with National Grid. They have a program. They're looking at our whole fleet, not just the staff vehicles that I drive. And they're looking at the apparatus, and they're looking to. They actually will formulate a plan to replace with electric vehicles. They're not going to replace it. They make recommendations. They will try to help you. They will actually try to help you with the grants.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they got. They got a grant.
So right now I'm driving a hybrid vehicle.
Yeah.
I think in the not too distant, those vehicles will be replaced with electric vehicles. The town just recently purchased, I believe, 4 of the Mustangs. Have you seen those?
No.
So our health director, Sue Rosa, has one, pure electric. For us, we would have to build out the infrastructure. So if I have one, I would have to have a dedicated electric charge at the station.
At the station.
So
that should have been built in when you built the station. Or even the new one, it should be built in.
And those are things that those could be add-ons and stuff. And I think you'll see those coming.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But that is the way of the future.
Yeah.
What I'm being told.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just read where Hertz rental cars, they ordered 100,000 Teslas.
Yep.
In their fleet. So it's coming.
School buses. So there's a school bus company. Yep, that's going electric.
Okay. I mean, your radius. I mean, if the radius is before you charge is 300 miles, you're not going to drive 300 miles in a day, and not in Chelmsford.
No, but if you look at the earlier models, not the ones that you're talking about, the Tesla, you're talking about the high end. But like the town has one, and I've used it. My experience, it'll have a number on the dashboard. It'll say 70. Now you put the radio on. And I used it, it was during the summer, so you put the AC on, it drops that down.
I see that.
I didn't drive 70 miles, but I had to charge it by the end of the day. Today's vehicles have caught up. The range is much, as you know, and that's how they have to be built. That way people don't, have the time to keep plugging them in.
I understand.
I think they're improving them, they're getting quicker charges. And we're gonna see that over at the Chelmsford Forum. They're gonna put them over there.
Oh, is that right?
Put the quicker charges, so
good.
people over there, they can charge up, get them free. I see it at the town office.